Hi, everybody. So today I just want to talk a little bit about going into Unit 4 and give an overview of what we're doing so that you have an idea in your head. So where I am right now is in the content section of Unit 4. The learning materials, there are lots of helpful articles in here, including one that I'm going to recommend that you read, which is What is a Critical Evaluation Essay? And another one that I'd like you to look at about counterargument and what a counterargument is. Because what we're working on, if you look, there's an article at the top, and there are lots of these different parts listed. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. And that is because the planner for your final paper in this unit, which is a big assignment that will be due on, let's just go down to it. The draft will be due on December 5th, and the final version of it will be due on the 10th of December towards the end of the course. So it's this critical evaluation essay, and these 4 parts are actually the planner. So you're going to be doing the planner in different segments. Excuse me. With different due dates. You can see that part 2 of this document is due on November 25th. Part 1 is going to be due on this upcoming Thursday, November 11th. So all of this is going to be breaking down an argument or a paper that makes an argument, and specifically a article. And the article that we're going to do, and let me just edit this. I thought I had edited this, but I'm going to edit it right now. That we're going to do is called Ungrading by Susan Blum. And this is the article for your critical evaluation. It says it right there. There we go. We'll get rid of that. So if you click on this, click on the link, it will take you to this article. It's not very long. It's broken down into little bulleted points. And it is an opinion piece written by Susan Blum. It's called Ungrading. It is published, the source name is Inside Higher Ed. Higher Ed is another term for higher education for college and university level education. So after high school. And it was published on November 14th, 2017. So this is the information that you need in order to get you started with the worksheet. So what I want y'all to do is read this article, annotate this article on your own. You don't have to turn in the annotation. Skim it, try and figure out what it's about, figure out the topic, figure out the claim, some of the major supports, because that's what you're going to be doing in the first part of your critical planner that will be due. And so each week that's coming up on Thursdays and Sundays, you're going to have parts of this planner due so that by the time you get to the draft, you have all of this material generated to actually complete this assignment. So one of the things I asked you to also do in the announcement was just read over the assignment so you understand what it is. But the thing I want to make really clear is, let me pull it up. That I want to make really clear is that you're going to be filling out this planner. It's called Critical Evaluation Planner, 4 parts. The only part that's due is part 1. Okay, why did it run into it? We'll just download it. Having lots of technical issues today, so I don't know if y'all are too. There we go. Just go ahead and download it. My recommendation to you is to download it and then rename it something immediately. So file, save as, and maybe give it somewhere where you can access it easily if you want to save it in the documents, if you want to save it on the desktop, wherever you want to save it. Save it, put your last name there. So I would save it like that. And then just save it somewhere because you're going to continue to use this as different parts of it are due. So this part 1, this is what is due on Sunday, the 11th. Part 2, evidence and fallacies, won't be due until next Thursday on the 25th. So what you'll do is you'll download it, you'll give it your name, you'll fill out this first page, you'll follow the instructions on this first page, and then you'll upload that. And then when it comes time to do the second part, you'll open up your document that you've been working on and you'll fill out the second part and you'll upload that has your filled out first part and second part. So we're going to go in order and ultimately fill out this planner so that you have a really strong amount of information that you can translate into your evaluation paper due at the end of Unit 4. Okay, so if we're just looking at Part 1 asks you to look at the author's position, to consider some summary elements and some counter argument. So what you'll be doing for Sunday the 11th is including article information like the author, the title, the source, the date. That's all information we just saw over here. So, you know, I'm just going to copy and paste this and put it in here. I'm going to format it so it looks a little prettier though. Put it all times New Roman, 4.5. Don't need to underline. So as always, I'm just going through. Anytime I cut and paste, I go through and make sure everything matches. So, you know, you could label it if you want. Title, author, publication date. The source is going to be the name of the publication where it appears. In this case, it's Inside Higher Ed. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to capitalize that like it should be, and I'm going to put it in italics like source name should be. Put the title in quotes like it should be, just to set myself up on the right foot. And then I'm going to look for the topic. So I'm going to search through here and I'm going to look for words that repeat a lot, because the topic is not going to be the opinion quite yet. It's going to be, you know, the general topic that it's talking about. And one of the fastest ways to figure out a topic is to just skim the article and look for words that appear a lot. So I see grades, education, grades, 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 grading, grades. I'm starting to see that this is probably about grades. And I know that this is from higher education, and I know that it's talking about college, and it says that higher education quite a lot. So I'm going to specify that my topic, this isn't just about grades like in general in education, it's specifically about grades in higher education. So that's what I'm going to put as my topic. And you guys are welcome to fill in this exact same topic when you're writing your, when you're actually filling your paper out, your planner out. So if you're watching this video, congratulations. It's going to be super helpful. The author's claim is what the author thinks about that. So one of the fastest ways to figure out the author's claim is to start with something like, the author thinks grades and higher education, and then just finish the thought. Go through and look, and what does this author think? Does she think they're a great idea? They're a terrible idea? They're a sometimes okay idea? What is the author trying to tell us about grades in higher education? Then the main points from the article. Once you come up with this claim, so let's say the claim is grades in higher education are necessary. I'm not saying that is or isn't the actual answer. You have to figure that out yourself. But if that is the case and you think that that's the claim, then the main points from the article are going to be the points that are included that support this main claim. So we'll say, you know, main points from the article. I would suggest doing like a bullet point list and maybe underneath, and maybe coming up with like 3 or 4 things. I'm just making these things up just to show you kind of visually what you want to do. So, excuse me. Here, you just put like a bullet point and come up with, you know, like 3 to 5 main points from the article there. Now, the next section is about counter argument. So I want to go over that really quickly, and I also would encourage you to read that article on counter argument that I posted in the announcement. Counter argument is, and we can actually refer to that article. It gives a nice definition of it. Let me just pull it up. I know I have like a million tabs open. Welcome to my brain. I must have closed some of my tabs. All right, well, here we go. The article that I'm talking about is just over here in our handy dandy course. I'm going to link it in the announcement, but you can see it here in the learning materials, and it's called counter argument. And the definition it gives as a counter argument is an opposing belief that offers some kind of counterpoint to the claim. So whatever the author's opinion is, your responsibility here is to start thinking about wrong version. Is to start thinking about, let's say your claim was the author thinks grades are a good idea. And again, I'm not saying that this is the claim. In fact, I'll give you a hint and say it's not. But if this were the claim, then your counter arguments would be things that somebody could respond back if they disagreed. So the author, so a counter argument to that would be grades are not helpful. Grades are not a good measure of student learning. Grades are too punitive. Grades are necessary, but they aren't the best measure of actual retention. And I'm mentioning all these because one of the things that you're going to see here in this counter argument article is that a counter argument is not just, the point of it isn't just to like take an opposing side for the sake of doing so. It's to highlight that there are alternative opinions that can reflect credible, well-informed, nuanced perspectives. So there are lots of different sides to an issue, and it's not always just like, oh, well, this side thinks this and this side thinks this. Sometimes it's more complicated. So I'm going to encourage you to think of the complicated ways that you can kind of respond and disagree with the author's claim, how people might disagree with the author's claim. And that's what I want for the counter arguments. And that's really all that you need to do, just this first part of it. And there's, you know, if you want to, I'll leave that up for a second. If you want to just kind of follow, you can put these things in yourself. Those are perfectly acceptable answers. You just need to figure out the author's claim and the main points from the article. And then based on the claim that the author is making about the grades, brainstorm some things that people who do not agree with the author's side might say about their position. So that's pretty much it for part 1.